Hey, how you doing? Sorry it took me so long to get this video back to you today, but I did want to make a video because it makes more sense when you do it live. So if you're doing the quantitative in communication, one place to go is Communication and Mass Media Complete. So I'll show you stuff in there. Come. I blew past it. There we go. There's two of them. This one's all right. This one's awesome. Communication Mass Media Complete. When you do a search for anything inside of a database, you should consider where you are in a database. So this one is going to be all about communication and mass media. So you don't need either of those keywords if you're looking for. If you're in a sociology database or a general database, then you would probably need communication or one of those keywords attached to it, like rhetoric or discourse or something like that. So if I put in a keyword like let's do politics. I had to sound it out because I saw it's like all this stuff they have there. Okay, politics. I'm in a discrete size database. It's not growing or expanding or contracting like Google. It's just like it's like a big bucket of communication articles. If I type in one keyword, then out of all of those millions of articles that are in here, it's only returning those ones that have the word politics in the title, the abstract, or the keywords. If I wanted to narrow it down, I could add an and here there's more suggestions. I like that one, social media. But let's do quantitative. When you are a researcher, you are obliged to let people know how did you find your data. Did you do it with surveys? Was it quantitative? Was it qualitative? Did you do interviews? What did you do to gather that information? And this helps us avoid or express our level of paying attention to bias. So if you do politics and quantitative, so all of the ones that have politics in title, keywords, abstract, out of that pile, when I put the and in there, it's going to say out of that first pile, then find everything that has both of those words in it. So look, we're going to go from 34,000. The word and narrows it down. Whoa, it goes way down to 493. But what if I wasn't sure if it was politics, maybe if it was called something else? There's something you can do where you could come up with synonyms or related terms, and that's another one of those short capitalized words. You don't have to capitalize it. I do that to illustrate the point, but those are called operators or Boolean operators. So if I was, a related term might be political or politician. If I didn't know what it was called, I can throw in all of those different iterations of the word in parentheses. Helps because then it'll look for that first. It's almost like math where it does everything in the parentheses and then it's going to look for quantitative. So if you put in or statements, it's going to grow your list of things. So let's see how big it gets from 493 up to, like double. So what if I wanted to narrow it down even farther? So say I want politics, political, or politician, and I want to do social media. You just add an and. But when you're doing something that has more than one word in the key phrase, you put it in quotes. So it'll stick those words together. And you could do that with a string of words really long. And if there's quotes on the end, it'll look for the order of all of those letters and spaces just as they are. And this works out on Google as well. So if somebody says something like 4 years ago, our forefathers, blah, 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 if you put that whole thing in quotes, it will search for that as one big block of text, and you'll find it was Abraham Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address. So that's why I put social media in quotes. So that's a big mess of stuff, isn't it? but it narrows it down. It's really great. Here's another thing you can do. What if I didn't want to type in politics or political or politician all the time? Because they all started with POLIT, but then they just had different ends. You can do something called truncation. Whoops. So if you do any string of words and a star, it's going to use the words before the star as the prefix, and then the suffix can be a wild card. It can be anything. So let's see. So we have 116. So this is the same as politician, politics, politic, political. All of those should fall under that wild card search. Should be 116 or somewhere near. 119. Isn't that cool? If you want to remember all of these things, if you go to the advanced search, in the advanced search of all these databases, they typically will have the and, or, not. The not is if you want to get rid of something. So not would be not, I don't want any senators in this one. And so it would omit those searches. So it'll be less than the 119. Oh, no one said senator in any of these articles. Or you could say not, oh, if you did not Facebook, I was going to say MySpace. So if you wanted to like Instagram, Twitter, or anything like that, so not Facebook, which is kind of like the big one that people have been picking on, then it's going to reduce the number drastically. Or did it just redo my search result of senator? Let's try it again. So I'm politics, social media, and quantitative. Yeah, it cut out like a huge amount of those. So all these articles don't have Facebook in them. If you are, one other suggestion, and this is just moving around with the database. Say, for example, you have let's go back to the one where we have like a 800 or so. Say you're brainstorming and you want to find out things. Sorry, I have to go back. I want that big list of, oh, it's not going to let me have the big list of 800. Well, let me show you with the 119 list. If you have 119 search results or any number of search results, don't forget the sorting options down on the side also help you narrow down your search. So if you don't want articles that have MySpace in them, for example, zoom into like articles from the last 10 years or last 5 years. And you may have an assignment requirement that already does that. So that took 3 out. If you don't want magazines, you just want academic journals, you could do that way. Every now and then something will squeak through, so beware. If it doesn't look like a scholarly article, the checkbox sometimes misses some. Another cool thing you can do is if you want to do like a quick view of everything that's showed up in there, if you go into these articles, for example, I'm going to open up a new one in a tab. Every time a scholarly article is made, the author or authors, in this one, this is great, Horkey, Grimmer, and Tybalt. It's awesome. It's German. The subject terms right here. So they are going to write these so people can find them. And so if they're looking for something in particular and they see self-presentation or multiple personality as a disorder, if they see that, they'll go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Or maybe that's a rhetorical concept. But you can go through, I'm going to go back to the search results. You can go through all the subjects in all the articles that have been written in your search results in order of the number of times that they appear. So if you're doing a literature review and you want to know if you've caught everything, here you can see Twitter and Facebook show up at the top, 19 and 18 articles. But you can also see what people are talking about. So elections, democracy, social movements, comparative studies, digital divide. You don't hear that too often these days. Activism, Arab Spring, authoritarianism, and so on and so on. Those are just the subjects in order of how many times they appear in your articles. And if you wanted to just narrow down to Twitter as a subject term, you could do it that way. Or you could add and Twitter at the end of your search result. It's two ways of going in. That's all I've got. Let me know how it goes. I'm happy to help further, and feel free to share this video with whomever could benefit from it, and I'm happy to help. This is Dale the librarian, dale.larson@utah.edu, and I'm wishing you all a good weekend.